Teenagers Bonnie Bickwit and Mitchel Weiser vanished on their way to a rock concert in upstate New York in 1973. The following year, the families learned of a frightening possibility. Bonnie and Mitchel could have been the victims of a dangerous madman.
There was this serial killer who was on a rampage in the Adirondacks, and they caught him and he tried to escape. And
classmates at John Dewey also became involved in the search. They raised funds for a private investigator, but the money didn't last long and no new leads were discovered. Hoping that Bonnie might return, her mother has remained in the same house since 1973. Mitchel's parents moved to Arizona for health reasons, but they left an easy trail for their son to follow in case he came looking for them.
They found out from the phone company that they could leave their name in the Brooklyn white pages with the Tucson address and phone number, and that's what they did for years.
Then, 13 years after Bonnie and Mitchel vanished, that phone book listing may have paid off. Mitchel's father got a mysterious call.
My father got a phone call. The operator gets on the phone and says, "Hi, I have a collect call from Bonnie. Would you accept the charges?" And my father goes, "Yes, yes, of course." And the operator comes back and says, "I'm sorry," she hung up. My father always felt that he shouldn't have acted so excited to hear from her, that she had lost her nerve. But we're always hoping that it was really Bonnie.
The case of Bonnie and Mitchel lay virtually dormant until 1998, the 25th anniversary of the concert. Eric Greenberg, a reporter for New York's Jewish Week newspaper, grew up in the same Brooklyn neighborhood and remembered Bonnie and Mitchel's story.
I also wanted to go to this concert and couldn't. New York newspapers had stories about how the two teenagers from Brooklyn never came back, and had this picture of Bonnie Bickwit with a flag and this smiling face of this 15-year-old, and it's just something that stayed in my memory.
Eric began his own investigation and found some disturbing information at the Sullivan County Sheriff's Department.
They had admitted that they lost files, including any investigatory notes that were taken at the time. They failed to interview crucial people who were involved, including friends of Bonnie and Mitchel, including people up at the camp where they had left that day to go up to the concert.
Eric's article caught the interest of psychic Maurice Schickler. Bonnie and Mitchel's families agreed to let Schickler help with the case. First, he visited the camp. Then he set about finding a site that matched the visions he had received about the case.
My information told me that I had to find a rock quarry. Also, the information said that there was a cemetery in the neighborhood or in the area of the quarry that I had to find. Also, two numbers came up. One was 23 and the other was 34. And as I left Camp Wel-Met, I noticed in my rearview mirror that I was on Route 23.
After several hours, Maurice found the area he was looking for in a neighboring town.
But this is the place, and I believe that the murder took place up on the hill. And there's a road that goes up this hill to the quarry off on the right side.
Maurice believes Bonnie and Mitchel were murdered.
Mitchel was murdered by a man who was a veteran, a Vietnam War veteran. The murderer grabbed him and put his hand over his nose and his mouth and squeezed his throat. He then murdered Bonnie in another location several days later, I believe.
Recently, Maurice has said he believes the man's name is Wayne, Wade, or Willie, and that he is still alive. Though there is no evidence to support his claims, the families feel Maurice's theory is worth further investigation. Eric Greenberg's newspaper article had also caught the attention of Bonnie and Mitchel's high school classmates, who'd helped jumpstart this investigation by contacting the press and public officials.
There was a 25th high school reunion of the class that Mitch was part of, and as we all started to talk about the past, this was a recurring subject. The pain and the mystery of it was still with us.
The world changed very much for all of us after that summer. We thought it was a safe place to live in this world, and we realized that It's not.
In June 2000, friends held a tree planting ceremony in remembrance of Bonnie and Mitchel and talked about what could be done to get answers.
We were all so angry that there was no investigation. And these are two wonderful kids, and they were loved. It's so important for us that authorities don't ignore them anymore. And at this dedication, the tree dedication, in honor of them, we asked for public officials to get involved.
Detective Anthony Suarez of the Sullivan County Sheriff's Department, who was handed Bonnie and Mitchel's case, continues to work on this investigation.
The case is still open and will remain open. I've taken this case kind of personal, and even when I retire, and I plan to do that soon, I'm going to continue to be in with this case.
Unfortunately, Bonnie and Mitchel's dental records were destroyed by mistake years ago. But now, new technology may provide another possibility for accurate identification.
I found a hairbrush that has some hair in it, so that could possibly be DNA. My father passed away, and I went down this April to close the house, and I found that he had saved our baby teeth. I think if there's blood on a tooth, then you can do the DNA.
Bonnie and Mitchel's family and friends feel answers are the best they can hope for.
The worst part about this is we don't know what happened. We don't know how far they got, if they got kidnapped and kept for a while. I mean, I have no idea if somebody gave him something and maybe his brains got fried out and he's in a rehab place, or maybe he got stuck in a hospital.
They have all tried to find their own ways to come to terms with this tragic mystery that follows them through life. To this day, Bonnie and Mitchel remain missing persons.
If he's dead, he died in 1973. I owe it to him to find him and to find his killer. And that's what I want. If he's alive, then I want to find him. And I want to hug him and kiss him and then punch him out. And then hug him and kiss him some more. Find out what happened.
Bonnie's mother is still haunted by her daughter's last letter.
I love you both very, very much. And it's for that reason that I'm able to write such an intense letter to you. Thanks. Thanks for being the people you are. Love always. Bonnie.
Today, Bonnie Bickwit would be 43 years old. Mitchel Weiser would be 44. The New York Attorney General's office has now launched a full investigation into this case. If you have any information about Bonnie Bickwit or Mitchel Weiser, please call the Sullivan County Sheriff's Department at 914-794-7100.